Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to discuss about energy and energy transmission, which is very much important for our economy. Global energy resources and technology parts. History of energy consumption, prehistory of consumption, pre-industrial energy consumption, industrial revolution, post-industrial revolution, early 20th century, coal oil transition, middle 20th century, nuclear resolutions, gas and renewables. Interpreting the history. Marketing and Nacarty's approach, Wilson and Gabler approach, Podolnik approach. Non-renewable energy, stock resources, geological formations of the fossil fuel, reserves and resources, coal, oil, gas, nuclear energy. History of energy consumption. History of energy consumption, prehistory of consumption, during the Platonic and being of the Holocene accent decided their life to be hunting and gathering. Energy used per person in order of 27 mj per day, and main energy sources were food from hunting, fire from biomass sources. History of energy consumption. History of energy consumption, pre-industrial energy consumption. With domesticals of plants and animals, agriculture, society appearance. Population's growth moved the extensifications to intensifications. Energy consumption rose up to the level above E or by year globally. Fossil fuels entered into the energy matrix, limited use in places such as Asia and Great Britain. Renewable energy sources was still the dominant source of energy until the Industrial Revolution. Animate power in the form of horse mills, wind power in the form of windmills, and water power with the use of a water wheel were major energy sources harnessed until the 19th century. Population increased from less than 6 millions to around 1 billion. History of energy consumption. History of energy consumption, the industrial revolutions. The invention of the steam engine changed the energy landscapes. While coal was able to replace biomass as heating source a long time ago, the invention of the steam engine allowed coal to replace humans and animals as a source of mechanical energy. Each generation comes to have confident expectations that they would be better off than their parents and grandparents. England led to use of coal for industrial and transportation purpose. It was followed shortly after by US and European power. Notice that expand in the use of modern energy sources was not built directly at the expense of traditional sources. Rapid population growth was accomplished by a steady expansion of traditional energy sources. However, modern energy sources such as coal showed the fastest growth. History of energy consumption. Until the first half of the 19th century, oil was mostly used in illuminates, lubricant, and solvent, competing with the alcohol from agricultural product and turpentines from wood. In 1859, Edwin Drox struck oil in the Pennsylvania, and for the first time, large quantities of crude oil were successfully produced commercially. The price of the oil barrel dropped from $80 in 1859 to 9.9 to $9.6 in 1860. While coal was cheaper than oil, during the XY century, liquid oil was more efficient of the transportation than coal. However, the internal combustion engines better suited were machines in strategist terms. Something extremely important in the context of the military rivalry that surrounded the first half of the 20th century. By the honest of the world where I most leading nervous were in the process of the coronavirus of petroleum led by USA and UK. History of energy consumption. History of energy consumption mid 20th century nuclear revolutions. Electricity from nuclear energy was the first produced in the 1950 in the experimental bread reactors. Despite the concern, countries such as France produce a large part of their electricity using nuclear energy. Modern use of gas date back to England during the 18th century, mostly in the form of town gas for lighting. The extensive use of natural gas begins after the development of the effective pipeline technology, which happened during the first half of the 20th century. History of the energy consumption. History of the energy consumption. Late 20th century, gas and the renewable. The oil crisis of the 70s was a strongest incentive for the large economic development and oil to start investigate on alternative fuel. In is in the context that USA and the Japan, the two largest investors of energy research and development, spend on average 3.38 2.45 billion US respectively. Several researchers have find patterns that explain transitions in the energy sector, while some of them follow a mathematical approach such as Marcidi and Nicoli. Others try to find the key factors that explain the energy transitions in the geopolitical arena, such as Podobnik. More than 30 years ago, Mercedes and the Nikovic realized that transitions in the energy sectors follow certain pattern. The transition in the energy system follow logistic pattern. Seven grid patterns of the technological changes. End-use application, drive supply, side transmission, performance dominant cost in the initial market niche. Technology do not change individually but cluster and spill over. Time scales of technology changes are long. Experimentations and learning procedure upscales and widespread diffusions. Magnitudes and the time to expand in energy conversion capacity are positively correlated. Diffusion in late adapter regions is faster than initial innovator regions but saturated at a lesser extent. End user application drive supply side transformation. The use of steam engine drawn the demand for the coal. Performance dominant cost in the initial market niche. Initially, new technology are attractive but expensive. Only new adapted are willing to invest on this technology, which with time become more efficient and therefore cost effective. Technology do not change individually but cluster and spill over. There are synergies between director technology. Classic example are the steam engines and the ICT. Time scales of technological change are long. The turnover of the capital stocks in the energy system range from many decades to well over a century. Experimentation and learning procedure upskilling and widespread diffusions. During the formative phases of technology lifestyle, technology are often interactive in state and taken into the market in an early stage of commercial diffusions. Magnitudes and time to explain in energy conversion capacity are positively correlated. Diffusion is later, adapter regions is faster than in initial innovators regions, but saturates at a laser extended. Potolik identified three major energy rhythms: coal, oil, cluster of the new technology. Geopolitical rivalry, commercial competition, social conflict is according to Podo Binks. The transition between energy regime can be explained through long way dynamics. There are different kind of history of energy consumption. It's actually ups and down. Global energy resources, non-renewable energy, stock resources, geological formation of a fossil fuel reserve and the resources, coal and oil, traditional oil and tars, natural shade gas and nuclear energy, astronomical formations of radioactive material, nuclear fission and nuclear cycle, uranium, thorium and unclear weapons. Strictly speaking, all energy resources are renewables. The difference comes from the time scale of replenishments. The sedimentations of the organic material under his pressures and temperatures conditions over millions of years product kerogens, which is the sources of hydrocarbons such as crude oils and the natural gas. Oil and gas, carbon and hydrogens from organic materials. Continental rifting, which produce rapid brutals that prevent decompositions, provide the right environment for the oil and gas formation within the continental migration sediments. Coal, dead plants matters fall into the swampy water, forming tricky layers of dead plants by decaying at the bottom of the simples. There are different kind of things, especially the power sector. Coal is typically used for the producing steam, which moves the turbines that produce electricity. Coal is carbonized at the high temperatures. Coke, along with iron ore and limbs, are sent to the blast furnace, powering oxygen through the molten pig iron. Product and consumptions are very important. Energy technology, non-renewable energy, oil and gas reserve is very important. Conventional or naturally occurs maximum consistence predominantly of the hydrocarbon exist in the liquid phase in natural or underground reserves. Enhance of well recovery. Tar sand. The well sands are a thick, heavy well. Well is the highly viscous and cannot easily flow of production well under the normal reserve counting. Well shape. Organic rich shells that yield substantial quantities of well by conventional method of destructive destructions. Motor gas lines and different kind of minerals also playing a major roles, and major sources we are observing from the slides, the how actually energy sources actually helpful for our different things. So, technology, non-renewable energy, nuclear energy. The nuclear fuel cycle include the front end preparation of the fuel, the service period in which fuel is used during reactor operation to generate electricity. In spent fuel is not reprocessed, the fuel cycle is referred to as an open or in once through fuel cycle. There are different kind of information which is very much important for nuclear fuel cycles, and especially energy technologies, which is actually help us to grow the energy related things in an effective way. So as we are moving forward with different kind of energy and energy sources, we have to be very much careful about that. Thank you everyone for joining today's sessions. If you have any kind of questions, you can communicate with me. Thank you.